Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. T here. Well, it's the end of the school year, and this is going to be the last read aloud I do through school. But I'll tell you more about what I plan on over the summer when we're done with our final book for this school year. And it's a little bit longer than usual, but I think you guys can hold out and watch it, because I think it's a really sweet story. And it's called Rumple Buttercup, a story of bananas, belonging, and being yourself. This is by Matthew Gubler. Here's the cover. Once upon a time, long ago and far away, in a tiny town beneath a purple-peaked pine tree, there lived a monster named Rumple Buttercup. He had 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green skin, and his left foot was slightly bigger than his right. You can see. He was weird. And so Rumple worried that if anyone ever saw him, that they would be scared or run away or throw rocks at his head. So he spent his entire life hiding underground in a rain drain right by a garbage can in the middle of town, where no one would ever see him. But where he could still see them, laughing and playing, singing and dancing, walking dogs and jumping rope. But most of all, not being weird. Lots of straight teeth, more than 3 strands of hair, no green skin, perfectly proportioned teeth, cute and fluffy. Living underground wasn't all bad, though. Rumple made the most of it and had a nice little home that he decorated with old garbage that he found out in the can outside. Here's his home. You can see all the stuff that he's created by things that he's picked up. Pretty cool, huh? There he lived day after day, week after week, year after year, alone. So one day he reached in the garbage can and took 2 lollipops, a piece of chewed gum, 3 strands of spaghetti, some melted licorice rope, a petrified pretzel, a handful of candy corn, and he created Candy Corn Carl. Even though he was just a bunch of old candy that Rumple had glued to the wall, Candy Corn Carl was Rumple's best friend in the world, and Rumple would talk to him for hours a day. What have you been up to, Carl? But Carl never replied. Okay, well, hang in there, Carl. Get it? Hang in there, 'cause you're hung on the wall. There's a little note that says, if Carl was real, he probably would have liked that joke. But since he was just a bunch of candy stuck to a wall, he just stared. When Rumple wasn't building stuff out of garbage or talking to Carl, he would listen to the voices above ground and pretend that they were talking to him. With his eyes shut really tight, it was as if he was part of all the fun happening above. Can anyone get that cat out of the tall tree? I can. Wow, those are some great dance moves. Thanks. See, he's thinking about that. He's not really doing it. Hang in there, I said to him. Ha ha. But when he opened his eyes, he would remember that it was all just a dream, and no one was ever talking to him. Sometimes at night, if the moon wasn't too bright, and if Rumple was feeling adventurous, he would go above ground with the help of a very simple disguise. Rumple's above ground disguise instructions. Step 1. Get a banana peel out of the garbage can. Step 2. Put it on head. Step 3, close your eyes. Step 4, slither head up the drain and sit very still. Lying quietly by the garbage can, no one would notice him, and if anyone saw him, they would just think that he was a pile of trash. Hidden under his banana peel, Rumple almost felt like he was normal. Year after year, with his eyes shut tight, he would feel the breeze of the changing seasons. In October, he could hear the crunching leaves and almost taste the apple cider. In December, he would hum along with the passing carolers. And in July, he could imagine the beautiful fireworks. But at the end of each night, he was always reminded that he was still all alone. Chapter 2. The leaves were turning green, which meant that Rumple's favorite day was fast approaching. The annual Pajama Jam Cotton Candy Pancake Parade. On the 17th Saturday of summer, everyone in town would wake up late, keep their pajamas on, and march down the center of town, singing and dancing and lighting fireworks and laughing while eating giant bushels of cotton candy pancakes. That sounds like fun. Rumple loved this day most of all because it was the one day of the year that he could actually go out in the daylight. With all of the noise and commotion, no one would ever notice him. As long as he had his disguise. Right, that banana. After a whole year of waiting, the day was almost here. The night before, Rumple was so excited he could hardly sleep. He woke up early the next morning. He brushed his 5 crooked teeth, and he combed his 3 wispy hairs. And slowly, carefully, slithered his long green hand up the rain drain to find a banana peel. I wonder what's going to happen. What do you think? But the garbage can was empty. Look, here's the top of the garbage can. There's nothing in it. There was no banana peel. Oh no, thought Rumple. I'm going to miss the pancake pajama parade. I can't go above ground without my disguise, or people will think that I'm weird. So he lowered his head and he cried. And cried. And cried some more. And that was when he heard it. Chapter 3. You didn't know this was going to be a chapter book, did you? Well, aren't you going to watch the parade this year? Rumple couldn't believe it. Was Candy Corn Carl finally talking after all these years? He whipped his head around in amazement. But Carl was silent. And then he heard the same voice again, a little bit louder this time. Can you hear me down there, mister? The voice wasn't coming from Candy Corn Carl. It was coming from the rain drain. Someone above ground was talking to him. See, look, there's some feet. Sorry to bother you, but we were just wondering if you were going to watch the parade this year. Rumple sheepishly replied, well, what do you mean? Well, we couldn't help but notice that you weren't in your usual spot, so I just thought I would check to make sure that you were okay. You can see me? Well, of course we can see you. You're kind of hard to miss. But aren't you scared of me? And then a different voice replied. Well, why would we be scared of you? Well, because I have 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green scaly skin, and my left foot is slightly bigger than my right. I'm weird. Well, look at me, said the boy. I have really big cheeks, metal on my teeth, and my entire body is covered in freckles. Oh, and look at me. I have really thick glosses, a super pointy nose, and I can't pronounce the letter R. All of a sudden, Rumple didn't feel so alone. He moved closer to the rain drain, got up on his tiptoes, looked out and saw... My hair is too curly. My hair's too straight. I'm allergic to dogs. I'm taller than my big brother. I only have 1 eyebrow. I'm shorter than my little sister. My toes look like tiny carrots. I can't grow a mustache. Peanuts make my face turn red. I sing like a frog. I look like a frog. People are allergic to me. The entire city looking down. Sorry. And that's when Rumple realized everyone is weird. And that's what makes us great. Pulling Rumple above ground, the boy remarked, "You know, there's one thing about you that we always thought was kind of strange." "Oh no," thought Rumple. "What?" What do you think it is? What do you think they thought was strange? "Why do you always wear a banana peel on your head?" And Rumple just smiled. All this time they could see him after all, and nobody cared that he had 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green scaly skin, or even a banana peel on his head. And the town was so happy that their new friend had decided to join them above ground, they insisted that he lead the parade from on top of the highest float. High up there above ground, way higher than he had ever been before, Rumple could feel the wind in his 3 strands of hair. He could taste the cotton candy pancakes in his 5 crooked teeth. And he could finally feel the warm, welcoming sun beating down on his green, scaly skin. But the warmest feeling of all he felt on the inside. Knowing he was surrounded by all of his new friends. Friends who all wore banana peels on their heads in honor of their newest friend, Rumple Buttercup. The end. Look, here's Carl. "Way to go, Rumple." So, yeah, everyone's weird in their own way, huh? I'm glad he made some friends and he is able to come up and join them. So, boys and girls, this is the last video for the school year. I am going to do some videos over the summer. I am on YouTube, and you can find me with Arundel's Mrs. T Reads. Make sure you have your parents' permission and you get on with your parents. I also will be sending a link to my news videos through the PTA over the summer. So keep your eyes out for those. And I hope you have a wonderful summer. I've enjoyed trying to keep in touch at least with you guys through some stories. Keep up the reading. It's so important. It's like everything else, boys and girls. If you want to get better at something, you have to practice, okay? So that's what reading is. Not only do you get the practice in, but you get to hear or read a good story. There's so many wonderful books out there to read. And if you aren't sure or you want some recommendations, you can always email me. And when you do get on YouTube to look for me, there are apparently a couple of Mrs. T's, so you will always be able to find mine right away because you will always see my 3 signs behind me. And that's what you should look for. Anytime you get on YouTube, you look for these signs that I have, and you'll know that those will be my videos, okay? Have a wonderful summer. Know that I miss you, and I'm sending you hugs, and hope you're doing well. Bye, everybody.